Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is facing fresh scrutiny now over use of a private email server because of newly released notes from the FBI investigation into the use. Records show that a senior State Department official tried to make a deal, in fact, to declassify one email in question. The Clinton campaign says they were unaware of this conversation. Nancy Cordes, tracking all these developments, joins me now from Washington. And again, Nancy, this was the last drop, if you will, of these notes from the investigation. What did we learn?
We learned that there was at least a conversation that took place between Undersecretary of State Patrick Kennedy and an FBI official about trying to declassify one particular email. This was one of Clinton's first emails, just to put this in perspective, that was classified at the secret level. And that's something that State Department officials really didn't want, because Clinton had been arguing for months there was no classified information being stored on her private server. So Kennedy was sort of banging the doors anywhere he could, trying to argue that this email should be classified at a lower level. And he went to a contact that he had at the FBI. He said, "Can you help me out here? This is really a problem for me." And the FBI official said to him, "Sure, I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to my colleagues, but don't forget that we've got this pending request for more FBI positions at U.S. missions overseas. Can you look into that?" And Kennedy apparently said, "Sure." It was only when this FBI official went to talk to a colleague that this colleague says that he felt pressured to reduce the classification level because he felt that there was a quid pro quo in place. So the FBI now says there was no quid pro quo. The State Department says there was no quid pro quo. And we're left kind of wondering whether there was some kind of arrangement or whether this was essentially a game of telephone whereby once you got down the line, someone felt that there was a more specific deal in place than there actually was.
And it's so many of the criticisms, specifically of her time as Secretary of State, seem to suggest a secretary who felt she was beyond or above protocol. I know that there is another question here with regard to tensions between the secretary and her security detail. What do those tensions suggest about her tenure?
Right. Well, this was really fascinating. So as part of the FBI investigation, the agents did an interview with a diplomatic security agent from the State Department. These are the people who are essentially tasked with protecting Secretary Clinton, both when she's traveling overseas and when she is here at home. And this agent, and I should stress it's just one agent and one person's perspective, said that Hillary Clinton was contemptuous of her protective detail to the point that senior diplomatic agents who normally fought over being able to have these assignments said they didn't want the assignment and they had to staff it instead with newer agents. And beyond that, this agent said that when Clinton went overseas, she often ignored protocol. She was supposed to ride with local U.S. ambassadors, for instance. This was something that ambassadors really looked forward to and appreciated, especially when they went into local events with the secretary. But this agent said that Clinton typically preferred to ride instead with Huma Abedin, her top aide.
We have not heard much from Secretary Clinton on the stump, if nothing else, this past week or so. How is the campaign responding, though, to these specific allegations?
Well, they're trying to distance themselves from, in particular, this talk of a quid pro quo. They say, look, the FBI at the end of the day says there was no quid pro quo. The classification level never got changed, so no favors changed hands. And beyond that, they say they never knew about this conversation between Undersecretary Kennedy and this FBI official. The one piece of good news for the Clinton campaign, Josh, is that the FBI was releasing these notes in 4 batches, and this was the 4th batch. So they don't have to worry about any more embarrassing details coming out of the FBI, but they do now have to worry about more hearings being held by congressional Republicans who are not so quick to believe that there was no arrangement here between the FBI and the State Department.
In this election cycle, the news can never always be good. That's for certain. Nancy Cordes in Washington, we do appreciate it.
You're welcome, Josh.